Now, I know that in this channel, we talk about animation first and foremost, and most of you are here for that. Now, today I would like to talk about Einstein. And, it might seem that at first there's nothing in common between Einstein and animation. However, Einstein's theories about happiness and how to live a fulfilled life are very interesting to me, and I'm pretty sure if you hear me out, might be very interesting to you and to your career in animation and longevity in animation. So, let's get started with this next episode. Hello everyone, welcome to another video. I hope you guys had a good week. Now, I know that this might seem a little bit out there when it comes to talking about Einstein and animation, and it might feel like I'm reaching, right? I ran out of subjects for this channel and now he's talking about Einstein. Actually, Einstein, as I mentioned in the beginning, his theories of happiness and how to live a fulfilled life are incredibly deep and incredibly interesting to me, because I really feel like when you look at someone accomplished, you can have basically two stories. One of greed, right? I wanted to be a millionaire, a billionaire, and whatever, and therefore I did whatever it took to be that person. And then the other side, which is normally the most artistic side, is I want to be true to myself, to my craft, or to whatever I'm passionate about, in Einstein's case, science. And I don't care about money, I don't care about anything else, I just care about doing this one thing that is bigger than life, and I believe that if I focus myself into it 100%, something good will come out on the other end. Now, I am much more on the camp of the second side, right? I don't want to sell my soul to the devil in order to be rich or have money or live a comfortable life. In matter of fact, to me, money really doesn't matter so much. To me, what matters is being a fulfilled person in terms of craft and love and family. That is to me what happiness means. Now, Einstein seems to actually think in the same vein, and he actually delved deep into what it is to be happy, right? And I'm assuming that given all the pressure that he had, given everything that he accomplished and how many people he had looking up to him, makes sense that especially towards the end of his life, he had thoughts about what exactly means to be happy. Now, there's this story, and it's a story, might not be 100% true, but I hope it's true. In 1921, Einstein was at the top of his game. The story goes that he went to Japan to work, and in one of the restaurants that he actually was in, instead of giving a tip to the waiter, he gave him a note. And the note went something like this: "A calm and modest life brings more happiness than the pursuit of success combined with constant restlessness." Now, this sentence, this story, is incredibly powerful to me, because as a person that actually was, that worked really hard outside of animation, before animation, I always wanted for somebody to actually kind of give me knowledge more than giving me tips or money in order to make myself better, right? Because that saying of like, instead of giving somebody a fish, teach him how to fish. This is basically what Einstein did here. And this goes with his whole theory of life. Because for him, what was important, as I mentioned before, was the fact that he kept his integrity and his love for science first, and everything else came second. Family as well, of course, but everything else came second. So I think this is a correlation that we can have for animation, right? Because as hard as animation is, and as hard as you need to work to be an animator, it's easy for you to get lost within animation, right? And as you get lost within animation, especially at a young age, that you actually really want to do the best thing possible, you realize that animation, even though it's such a wonderful art form, there is no such thing as super famous animators, right? Like if you think about it, maybe Glenn Keane is the most famous animator of all time, right? Or maybe it's Walt Disney, right? But Walt Disney didn't become famous because of his animation skills. Walt Disney became famous because of his entrepreneurship, right? Because he created Walt Disney Company. limited. He created like lots of characters. He created movies. He was known in Hollywood. He got a Hollywood star. But no one talked about Walt Disney, the animator, except for us animators, right? So as much as you want to be super famous as an animator, you probably won't be, right? As much as you want to have like a fortune as an animator, you probably won't have, right? Not to say that there's no money in animation, animators get paid well, but it's not ever gonna give you millions of pounds. It's not like you're a broker or you are a financial advisor or something like that, right? You're never gonna get there. So I believe that in order for you to be successful in animation, also be happy in animation, and have a fulfilled life throughout animation, you need to truly internalize the fact that you are here to fulfill your artistic ambition, right? And be the best animator possible without the wants of the money and all the fame and all these other things that come with it. Because what happens is, if you don't decouple one from the other, right, you're going to be a very frustrated animator. And I have seen many animators this way, that no matter how much they achieve or how good they are and how much talent they have, they never seem to be happy, right? They can change from company to company, from project to project, achieve more and more, be at the top of their game, and yet they are not happy, right? They are unfulfilled. And it feels to me that there's always something else to achieve. Like, I wish that I would be like this person, or I wish that I would be here, and that person has achieved so much. And that sense of like almost jealousy, or I wish it was me, or like having something that you don't have right now, becomes very detrimental to your life and to your happiness. And this is exactly why I like Einstein's theories about happiness, because he is arguably the most famous person, like scientist of all time, right? Has achieved more than any scientist has achieved since. He's a savant, or was a savant, and yet he had a very simplistic way to see life. Now, just to quote him again, in a famous interview in 1929, he said this: "I'm happy because I want nothing from anyone. I do not care for money. Decorations, titles, or distinctions mean nothing to me. I do not crave praise. The only thing that gives me pleasure, apart from my work, my violin, and my sailboat, is the appreciation of my fellow workers." Now, that is incredibly deep, and I feel like the more experience I get, the more I feel exactly like this. Simple things that make you happy, that you're truly passionate about, care for those, right? And working with others, people that you really care, and in a job that you really feel passionate about, if you have it, keep it, because that is everything. And it's not about the job, it's about the people that you work with. Now, when it comes to money and wanting money, here's another quote from Einstein that I really enjoy. And this was to do with Henry Ford back then, obviously, creator of the 4T, cars in general, basically, we all have to thank Henry Ford for the automobile, the car. So this is what Einstein said about Ford. And at this point in time, Ford was incredibly wealthy, lots of power, lots of influence. And he said this: "I am sometimes sorry for men like Ford. Everybody who comes to them wants something from them. Such men do not always realize that the adoration they receive is not always a tribute to their personality, but to their power or their pocketbook. Great captains of industry and great kings fall in the same error. An invisible wall impedes their vision." Another powerful quote, right? So all this doesn't mean that you shouldn't strive for things, that you shouldn't be in a mode that you always want some things. Life is about striving to be better, striving to go somewhere. And Einstein is saying that you should live modestly, right? That you should not want only physical things in order to make you feel better. That really doesn't bring you happiness. And that is basically the bottom line of what he's saying, right? Live modestly. Don't aim to be a millionaire, billionaire, and the next Elon Musk, because that is not really what makes you happy. What makes you happy is what you're doing and the passion that you have, right? Part of the whole interesting part of looking at a man like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs is not so much that they actually got to be billionaires because of what they achieved. It's more about the passion that they have for what they do. Steve Jobs, company, Apple, you could tell that for Steve Jobs, nothing mattered more than Apple. This is how Steve Jobs built his company. Same thing with Elon Musk. The fact that he's so rich didn't came from him wanting to be rich or a billionaire. It came from his passion to create something new, something that made a difference, something that can help humanity, as he says, right? Building rockets to go to another planet. He truly believes that going to Mars is going to make our life better as humanity, and being a multi-planetary kind of like civilization, it's the ultimate goal, right? Or building electric cars is good for the environment, so therefore he built the best electric car possible when no one was building them. So this is what makes these people so interesting. It's not the money, it's about their personality. And you too in animation can do the same thing. As long as you keep it happy, as long as you keep it interesting, as long as you keep it positive, I'm pretty sure people will look up to you and start wondering how comes you see things in such a positive light when everybody else seems to actually see it in a negative light. And really the difference between you and them is the attitude that you have towards things, really, right? I mean, for me, animation is hard. Some jobs that I had almost broke me as a person, and I still take them with me, but I choose not to give them power and think and talk about these negative situations all the time. Instead, I choose to focus on the positivity of it all and choose to believe that I am lucky to be here and have these things because of the people that I'm surrounded with, especially now in this job. The team that I have is absolutely brilliant. It feels like a family, and it feels so much fun to work with them, right, on a daily basis. So I hope you understand the correlation between Einstein and animation at this point, and I hope you didn't thought that I was reaching it anyways, because I really think that this mentality and these ideas apply to everybody. Doesn't matter if it's animation, art, outside of art, it really doesn't matter. I think this is just life lessons that this brilliant man, Einstein, left for the world to study and analyze, and I am definitely one that really takes them to heart, because there's nothing better than living a simple life and being happy, right? This is what the true goal of this all is to be happy, to become old and not be a grumpy old man, but to be a happy old man. And that's all I had for you guys. Before I go, I cannot forget about my Patreons, people that have been supporting me every single month. Thank you very much. All these people that you can see now showing up on screen are absolutely amazing. Thank you very much to every single one of them. If you like to support me, definitely consider joining me and visiting my Patreon. Check the perks, check some of the stuff that I have in offer. This is really, really cool. And that's about it. I hope you guys have a great day. And until next week, stay well, stay safe. Peace.